Hey everybody, welcome for Insight from the Parsha. And as usual, we connect Parsha ideas with CBT ideas. Today we have a very interesting class about the 4 elements and 4 tools how to keep passion in your relationship and how to have to be able to deal with your anger and to deal with conflicts and just to be a happier person. So going to be very interesting class. And you should register to my channel so you get all those beautiful ideas weekly. There's also a WhatsApp group that I share the ideas there, so you can join the box below. There's a link, you can join the group. And also, till the end of the month, there is you can get cards of joy, that beautiful cards that I made with really nice sentence that will make you inner look and inspiration of happiness. And to get them, you just need to register to the channel and then send me a message on WhatsApp. There's a link to connect me, or message on my Gmail. There's also my Gmail link, and just tell me, hi, I registered to the channel, and I will send you those beautiful cards. So don't miss it. Okay, so this Parsha is Parshat Tazria, and there's 2 main things this Parsha is talking about. The first thing is about tzara, that it's gonna disease that somebody has on his skin, and the other thing is about the woman getting a Torah, like after she giving birth, she needs basically to go and dunk in the mikveh, and they're talking about that. So today we also will talk about those 2 ideas, and then we will connect them to CBT, and we learn really beautiful tools. So basically, the way you get this tzarat, this disease, is from speaking bad words, like saying lashon hara on somebody, saying bad stuff about another person. And in Hebrew, it's really interesting that the word for disease is nega. And when the talk is not clean, it's called dibur nagua. Dibur is like the speech, and nagua is like not clean. It's like it's filthy. And the mila nega and nagua, they're obviously the same thing. But if you use that word nagua and you change the letters, it becomes oneg. Oneg means pleasure. And the idea is that stuff that you do in kedusha and tahara and with holiness, it's bring you oneg, it's bring you happiness, it makes you pleasure. If you also nega, it's close to the word lagat, to touch. And the idea is, if you touch a woman that is not your wife, or you touch your wife but not in the right times, like when she's not allowed, so that's a bad thing. It's like a nega. But when you do it in the right times with the right woman, it becomes oneg and becomes something that makes pleasure. And also another play of word is that when you do something wrong, it's called pesha in Hebrew, like a crime. And when you do something in kedusha, it brings shefa laolam. Shefa is like bringing good things into the world, bringing powers, good energy, wealth, and again, the same word, shefa and pesha. So you can see it's the opposite ideas, but they have the same letters and they're very connected to each other. So basically, there is a distinguished in Hebrew avdala between bad and good. And we talk today about the 4 elements of the world: water, fire, wind, and dirt or earth. And we see these elements in many different aspects in our life. So first of all, obviously, we see it in the world. Like the world, there's sun for fire, there's water, rain, and all the seas and oceans. Wind is wind, and earth is earth, we see. But we will see it in many other things. So I started to talk about Avdallah, that it's exactly something that makes separation. We said the oneg and nega, shefa and pesha, they're distinguish between the good and the bad. Like you can do the same action, but if you do it not with your wife, it's a wrong thing. But if you do it with your wife, it's a beautiful thing. So that's the distinguish, and we see those 4 elements in Avdallah. When we do Avdallah between Shabbos and the week. And I will explain exactly what. So I will explain how. So we see it in Havdalah, we see it in Kedusha, we see it in the Beit HaMikdash, in the Holy. There's the Kodesh and Kodesh HaKodashim in the Beit HaMikdash. There's different rooms. And in the Kodesh, there's the menorah and the Mizbeach of gold that they would do Torah on it, and there's the special table of bread, and there's the parochet. And we see in those 4 things the 4 elements. I will explain. And there's also in the Kiddush, that's also something only in Kiddush in Shabbat we see it. And also, if this parsha talks about the woman being cleansed and being ta'or and going to the mikveh, so we also see it in the 3 mitzvot that the women have. The women have 3 main mitzvot, and in those mitzvot we see the 4 elements. Very interesting. Also, the Baal Tanya, the Admor HaZaken, the Rav of Chabad, first Rav of Chabad that wrote the Tanya, he explained that 4 bad manners are also connected to the 4 elements. And in CBT, I will connect it to a model called Efrat in Hebrew. And it stands for 4 different things that's very basic in CBT. And when we understand this model, we can understand basically how things happens, and we can understand how to change stuff. So we will be able to manage our conflicts and manage our soft and our passion in our relationship. Okay, so let's start with the 4 elements. So let's start with Avdallah. Avdallah, when we do between Shabbos and the week, we do Avdallah. It's like a ceremony, and the fire is the fire of the flame, like we lit a candle. The water is the wine that we do the Avdallah. The ruach, the wind, is the smell of the samim. We need to smell like good smells. And the chol, the earth, is the Avdallah itself. We say אנחנו מבדילים בין קודש לחול. The words of the Avdallah is basically doing the separation between the Kodesh of Shabbos and the Chol, the regular days. And also, as I said, we see it in the 3 mitzvot of the woman. So Esh is the fire that the woman is, she should do the adlakat nerot every week. She needs to light Shabbos candles. Water is the mikveh water that she dunks in. Ruach is the Shechina that the wife brings with her. When she keeps all those mitzvot, she brings Shechina to the house and to the entire world. And the earth. So the third mitzvah is, it's called Afrashat Chala, and it's basically taken from the door piece and putting it in the side. When the Mikdash was, you will bring it to the Kohen, but today we don't have a Kohen, so you just put it in the side, and there's a special blessing you do on it. And there's also like a bigger, like Yehi Ratzon that connected to it. And there it said that when the woman takes out this piece of dough, she's doing basically tikkun for the first sin of Etz Hadat, the tree of knowledge. And the Adam Rishon, the first person, is like a different name to him, is like Isato Shel Olam. Isato Shel Olam, it means the door of the world. Like basically the first person was created like a door, like Hashem took the earth and then put it water and put the neshama in, and made them like kind of door, and he created it in his hands. So by doing this mitzvah of Afrashat Chala, the woman basically, she does a tikkun to the sin of the Adam Rishon. And basically we see the connection between this mitzvah of Afrashat Chala, taking out dough from a piece of dough from your big dough to earth. And we see it also in Kiddush, when we do in Leil Shabbat, in Shabbos. So the fire is again the fire of the candles that they're lit. In the Kiddush, you need to look on the candles. Water is the wine that we do the Kiddush on. Ruach is the wind, is the Malachim, the angels that they come with us from Shul, and the Shechina that comes to the Shulchan Shabbat, to the table of Shabbos. And Chol is again the earth, is the bread. We're supposed to do motzi on 2 breads, and with the motzi in the bracha we say Motzi lechem min haaretz. Haaretz is the earth. So again we see big connection between the bread and the earth. And in the Mikdash, so we said the 4 stuff that were in the Kodesh were the menorah, the Mizbeach HaKtoret, the Parochet, and the table of the bread. So, and by the way, it's very interesting because all those 4 things, they had great miracles in them. So in the menorah, it's obviously flame, fire, and the miracle was that there was a flame that always continued being lit. It's called Esh Atamid, that it was always lit. The water is when the Kohanim had the korbanot, they took the blood and they kind of sprinkled it on the parochet. The parochet was like a big piece of beautiful piece of garment, or I don't know exactly how to call it, but it was something that basically was separating between the Kodesh and Kodesh HaKodeshim. And they will sprinkle the blood of the korban on it. So there was a miracle that they were sprinkling it for so many years, but it didn't get bad smell. And also it was able to deal with all these things. The blood didn't start like going on the floor and messing everything up. It just absorbed everything. So that was water. The wind is the smell of the Ktoret, and there was also a miracle in that they said that the smell from it went all the way to the entire Jerusalem, and a woman that got married, she didn't need to put perfume on because the smell was so good. She just was smelling good. Everything smelled good. And also that there was one thing inside the Torah that was bad smell. But there was a miracle that when you put it with all the other stuff, it had a good smell. And the fourth thing is the earth, and again, we connected it to the bread, lechem apanim. And like we explained before, there's a connection between bread and earth. And the miracle in that was that the bread stayed warm and it felt fresh the entire week. Even though they were making it only once a week, the entire week it felt fresh. And also there was another miracle that was enough to eat a little bit of it and you felt satisfied, like you ate a lot. Okay, and in the Tanya, the book of Tanya, so in the first paragraph, not first paragraph, the first chapter, he explained that the four elements are connected to 4 bad manners. So fire is connected to being angry, and you can see it when somebody is angry, it gets red, it gets hot. Water is being want to enjoy life, like but like not in a good way, like just looking for enjoyment all day and for pleasure. And he explained that the water grows all those stuff that makes pleasure, like all the food and everything connected to water. And earth is sadness and feeling heavy and feeling that you don't have any power to do anything, just want to stay in bed. That's earth. And wind is talking bad things and stuff that are like you say, oh, I'm so good, or making fun about other people. That's wind, because it doesn't have really meaning to it. It's just like, like obviously it influences other people, but it's like goes like the wind, and also when you speak, it's air coming out. And now I want to connect it to CBT also, so I choose a model that called Efrat in Hebrew, Aleph, Pei, Resh, Taf, and it's basically 4 basic elements that CBT is like, it's the basic for CBT. And Aleph stands for Irua. Irua means event. Pei stands for Parshanut. That means our interpretation for something. And that's the cognitive part, that we interpret things in our mind. Reish, it stands for Regesh, feelings. And it can also be like physical feelings, also emotional feelings. And Taf, it stands for Tguva, reaction. And that's the behavioral part. And I will talk about it more in detail soon. I want to go again and give another 2 beautiful ideas from the Parsha, and then we will get CBT practical, useful tools to manage our anger and to have better relationships. Also understand like where the stuff starts, and then we can change because we understand how it started or the problem. Okay, so in the Parsha, we said we're talking about the woman being pure and going to dunk after giving birth, and that's one of the 3 mitzvot of the woman, like we said. And we saw that the entire world is created from 4 elements, and basically the woman, she have 4 mitzvot, 3 mitzvot that she needs to do, and then those mitzvot bring Shechina. So that's the 4 elements. Shechina is like wind. So basically by the woman doing her mitzvot, she does tikkun to the entire world, because she in every mitzvah she basically does tikkun to a different element, and when she does all of them, she does tikkun to herself and to the entire world, and it's been brings brach. And another small idea I wanted to talk about is the power of speech. And we see it also in the Parsha that the tzarat, the sickness that somebody gets, it's the sickness they're talking about, it's you get it only from saying bad words about another person. It's not from doing bad things or not having a kavana. You don't think well about other person, or it doesn't do like stuff you need to do with your mind. It's about speech. Somebody can steal, somebody can even kill another person, but you won't get this disease called tzarat. But if we will say lashon hara about another person, it will say bad words about them, then it will get this really uncomfortable disease. He needs to go out from his house. It's like a whole procedure. And we see from it the power of speech. And we can also see the power of speech in three other very interesting things. So basically, we see that the world was created with speech. Everything in Bereshit, it was created by Hashem's speech. Hashem said, "Vayomer Elokim yehi or, veyehi or." Hashem said, "It shall be light," and then there was light. Hashem said, "It shall be sky," and then the sky was created. It shall be earth, and then the earth separated from the water. Like everything he was saying, and it was getting created. And also in the Kabbalah, it says that there's 10 ma'amarot, 10 ma'amarot, like 10 says or 10, 10 says, I can say, that from them, the entire world was created. So it doesn't call it 10 powers, even though it was a power that was created with. No, they say 10 says. And also, the 10 commandments, actually in English, it makes more sense, because what is the 10 commandments? Is 10 stuff that Hashem command us to do, and that's the way we should act. Like we shouldn't steal, we should behave to our parents. So in English, it makes sense. It's called commandments. But in Hebrew, they don't call it aseret atzivuim, that if you translate command to Hebrew, it will mean tzivui. But they call it aseret hadibrot. And dibrot is from the word dibur, that means speech. So in English, it talks about the meaning of it. And actually it means like the 10 commands that Hashem gave us how to behave. But they don't call it like that in Hebrew. In Hebrew, you see the pnimiyut, the inter meaning of the thing. And in Hebrew, it's called Eser Hadibrot, that it's connected to speech. So again, you see, even though the meaning of it is like 10 rules or 10 stuff you need to act by, they call it Dibrot, connected to speech. Very interesting. And then the third thing I was thinking about is another thing in Kabbalah. It's called Aseret Asfirot, the 10 Sfirot, that it's basically 10 powers. Through them, Hashem give energy to the world the entire time. Like first, he created the world with 10 ma'amarot, the 10 ma'amarot, and then now he continues to give it energy all the time through the 10 sfirot. It's like 10 channels of energy bringing shefa and wealth to the world. And very interesting that sfirot is, again, the word sfira is connected to the word sipur. And סיפור is like a story. You need to tell a story, you need to say it. זה גם קשור למילה סיפר. סיפר is like said a story. So again, all of those things, they're connected to speech, and it shows how much speech have energy and power. Also, we see that as human, that's what makes us different from the animals. They don't speak, and we do. And so if we talk now about the power of speech, so we see that the way we speak to people, it's really influencing the way they feel and the way they react. So, and we will see that basically if we can use the power of speech, it can help us so much in our life. So we'll give example. Okay, so we talked about model called Efrat, right? There's event, there's an interpretation, there's emotion, and there's a reaction. So for example, I will give example in a relationship. So the event, the woman is expecting her husband to wash the dishes, but he doesn't do it. And then there is an interpretation to that. She says, oh, he doesn't care about me. Only I need to do stuff in this house. Only I need to clean. Maybe she can think, oh, he thinks that I need to work for him. You know, it can be like everyone with their thoughts. And then it makes emotions. She feels anger. Maybe she will feel disappointed. She might feel just unhappy. And it makes her react in a certain way. So the reaction might be, she might yell at him. She just might make him like weird faces. She might don't want to speak to him at all. Maybe she will just go to a different room. And then the husband comes from work, and he doesn't understand where all these like faces are coming from, why she's yelling and not happy. So then so that's the event. Now is the event. The husband sees his wife like in a unhappy position and yelling and just being uncomfortable. And then he interprets that and he says, oh, this woman, she's always angry. It's not nice to be close to her. Maybe it's better if I go out with my friends or go watch TV or just not be in her area, so I won't feel this bad vibe coming out of it. And then and he might feel also anger. It's like, oh, why she's yelling at me? Maybe he will be like uneasy and so upset. It can make different emotions for him too. And then in reaction, he can like just be mad, be upset, prefer to be away from her, right? He can react in many ways for it. So, and then she sees him angry, and that makes her more angry. It's like basically a circle that just gets worse. So now we understood where it started, and we see that it's really missing speech, because if she was speaking to him and said, look, I would really appreciate if you wash the dishes, and then he will actually know why she's like not happy. Like maybe he will say no, but he will understand, okay, she's not happy because I didn't do the dishes. But when she just expects him to do and she doesn't speak about it, she can say to him, oh, I had a really hard day. Please, can you help me with washing the dishes, taking out the kids, doing something? And then he can actually decide what he wants to do. Like maybe we will say, I'm also tired. I don't have the energy to do it. But he will understand why she's tired and not happy, because she told him. But you can't just expect him to know without saying. So I want to give another example from a kid. So just so we have more examples. So another example, and then I will give 4 tools how to deal with it and how to actually get rid of your conflicts and deal with them and have better tools to deal with stuff. So now we can understand what the problem is. and I will give you 4 tools. We said 4 elements, so there'll be 4 tools to deal with the things. So the another example is about a kid. The event is the kids in school, they're going out and they're playing soccer. And they don't invite this kid to play with them. So then the kid can have interpretation and say, oh, those friends, nobody cares about me, they don't like me, they don't want to be my friends, can have many interpretations. The idea is if we change the interpretation, so then our emotion change, and then also reaction change, everything change. Like if we can see it in a different way and say, okay, they don't do it against me, maybe they just forgot, maybe I can go and ask them if I can join, you know? If you change, that's the point. You need to change your interpretation about stuff. So, and we will talk about it in the tools. So if it's all those kids hate me, and then if it's in anger, and then his reaction can be physical or like talking. It can yell, it can say bad words, it can just hit the kids or maybe cry. And again, the kid is not using his power of speech. If you see something that happened, the kids don't invite them to play. So you can go to one of the kids and ask them, can I join? Can go to the teacher and say, look, the kids are not letting me join the play. I also want to play with them. Can you help me? But when he just doesn't use his words, so then all these stuff starts to happen and then just get worse. So I want to go to the tools. So the first tool we were talking about was using your speech, right? And we saw about the power of speech from 10 הדיברות, 10 מאמרות, 10 ספירות. Okay. The second thing is you're not allowed to expect. You need, instead of expecting the husband to do stuff, you need to ask. But you're not demanding him to do it. You're not like asking like, oh, you should do this and that. No, you need, no, not. You need to ask him, can you please do the dishes? Can you take out the kids? But you ask him in a way that it's okay if he says no, because he doesn't need to do you anything. It's not, it doesn't owe you anything, okay? You clean the house, you're not doing it for him. You're doing it for yourself. So it will be more comfortable for you to be in the house. You're not cleaning the house for him and then he needs to do it too. No, doesn't need anything. If you come from that, if you change your perspective and the way you're thinking, and you say, okay, my husband, he doesn't need to do anything. I'm not expecting him. I'm just asking him. If he wants, okay. If he doesn't want, that's also okay. So then if I don't accept, if I don't, I don't expect him to do it, so then I don't get annoyed, and I also won't be offended if it says no, and not disappointed or offended, because I'm not expecting. You know, that's the key. When you expect, so then you can get mad or sad or disappointed. But if you're not expecting, so fine. So then you also don't get sad, and then you be a more happy person because you didn't get offended or upset. So basically, it's better for me not to expect, but I can ask. It doesn't mean that, oh, now I can't ask my husband for anything. I just need to do everything by myself. No, you can still ask him, but in a way that it's okay if he says no. So then people come to me and say, okay, but I just physically, I can't do all the stuff. I'm tired, I'm busy, I just don't have enough time. Even if I wanted, I walk in the morning, I'm busy. I just can't do all the stuff. So then I say, okay, fine. That's exactly why there's a cleaner and why there's a babysitter and why is all those people that can help us. And you can say, oh, okay, it costs a lot of money. So then you have choice. You need to decide what's more important for me. to save some money or to have inner happiness and feel more tranquil and not feel angry. Like, what's more important to you, your relationship with your husband and to keep it well and happy, or to like save some money? Like, what was more money for you? You need to do the decision, because you for sure can continue yelling at your husband and asking him to do stuff and he doesn't do it. And it's the same with the kids. Like, so a woman called to consult with me and she said, look, my daughter, she always messes the room, takes me an hour to clean it every day. I'm very busy, I have other things to do, I can't clean it every day. I asked her many times, I explained her why it's important for me that she will clean, and like I did it in every way, it doesn't help. She still messes the room. So I said to her, look, you can tell the kid like this, that kid is a big kid and she has some money. So you can tell her, and even if the kid doesn't have money, you can start like giving him the make keys. It's like you give him a weekly money, and then if he doesn't clean his room, it's not a punishment. You just say, okay, I can't do it. I understand it's too hard for you to do it too. So I have a cleaner that comes to the house. She takes X amount of shekels or dollars per hour. So I would tell her to also clean your room, and the amount that it costs, it will come out from your bank account, from the saving we have for you, from the money you're saving, whatever. You will need to pay for it. If you don't want me to pay the cleaner, so you can organize it yourself. But if you leave it a mess, there's not reason that I need to take from my time and energy to clean your mess. It's your mess, it's your responsibility. So I would just call the cleaner. She will do it and you will pay for it because it's your responsibility. So it's beautiful tool. And it's our decision. If I decide that, okay, now I need this money and I can't afford paying the cleaner, so fine. But so I'm happy because I decided to keep the money and do it myself, but I do it in a happy way and not being upset. And the fourth thing is not to blame the other person. Very important, because obviously you need to share the idea that you're going to bring a cleaner to the house with your husband or with the kid. But you're not going to blame the kid or the husband. You don't say, oh, because you're not helping in the house, so now I need to pay all this money to the cleaner. No, you're just saying facts and explaining what's going to happen and using the words I. You never use the word you. You use the word I. You say, there's a lot of work to do in the house. It's really hard for me. I can't do it by myself. It's too much stuff. I'm very busy. So I'm going to bring a cleaner that she will help me. So it doesn't need to be complicated. You're not blaming anybody. You're just saying it's hard for me. So I need help. So I'm going to bring this helper. And I hope these tools helped you. Please, if anything is not clear, you can write me down in the comments or write me on my WhatsApp. There's a link, or write to me on my Gmail. There's also a link to my Gmail account. You can write if you have any questions. You can just write it there. And if you don't know me yet, I'm a CBT therapist, cognitive behavioral therapist, and I do full Zoom all over the world. So you can contact me and I can help you. So if we want to summarize it in a few sentences, we saw the 4 elements in the world that we found them in many different aspects. We found them in the mitzvot of the woman, in the Kiddush, in Shabbos, in the Havdalah, in the Mikdash, in that it's the 4 connected to the 4 bad qualities, the manners, bad manners. And we also saw it in CBT, in a model called Efrat, event, our interpretation, that's the cognitive part, the emotions that it leads, and the way we react. That's the 4 things. And we see that if we understand what led to everything, we change it, and we use those 4 tools I gave, that if I want to summarize them, the using speech, not expecting, taking help from outside, and not blaming, using the word I, not blaming the other. Those are the 4 things. So then basically we can have better relationship with our husbands, with our kids, with our friends. So please let me know if you tried it, how was it? And I'm looking forward to see you next week on my channel. Register now. Bye.